Welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club.
Riders setting off, and as you can see, just off from the line as one big bunch. This is where the battle is to get into the leading group. So Brommel now, Hermansen, Bauer, Gonzalez, Ruiz, Van Heuling. We haven't seen much of Van Heuling on the very front yet. Is she biding her time? Is she going to kick at the right time? Brommel sat there waiting, trying to make sure she can get the timing right as well. Brogan moves on to the front now. Hermansen goes over the top by Heuling and Faber back into a favourite spot. We're coming into another steeper section coming up. Faber leading them in at 4.6 watts per kilo this time. So as they come back past, you've got to get the timing right. We're at 400 meters to go. It's going to be all about getting this absolutely dialed. It's going to be virtually a group sprint at the top here. They're all in contention. Who is going to take this? If it comes to a sprint, Brogan has got some serious firepower. She'll be waiting to unleash that in the last 100 meters, but Van Heuling goes at 12 watts per kilo. Now Van Heuling goes. She's been waiting, she times it. Will she take this? She's got a second gap on Brewer, and it's going to be Elizabeth Van Heuling takes the win here on the Sunday.
Assalamu alaikum. Oh, hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. My name's Matt Payne. I'm going to be putting words to all of the action, and we're on qualifier race number 1. We're back in June. We're back at the start of our monthly cycle where we run right the way through our qualifiers to qualifying verified results to get into our prize money final at the end of each month here on the Sunday Race Club here on MyWhoosh. We've got a cracking course for you today, and very much one of our flat and very fast routes. We have a total distance of 35k, but only 274 meters of ascent from start to finish. And that means that this is really going to be a test of who can stay in the wheels, who can hide, who has that final sprint kick. And after the top finish of the prize money last week, it's a definite contrast. Segments along the race route, 7 segments. Our first 5 segments of 1 kilometre, the last 2 are 5 kilometres. Now give us a real good indication of who is in that group. And we've got some strong teams and strong riders to challenge on the way through the whole of the race here today, which is going to be a real challenge. It's definitely a different course than we've normally seen, and looks like it's going to be a real test. Now, the Spartan Obstacles took top 3 in our prize money final last week. Will they be able to do the same? Well, it might be a different rider because Gemma Brogan has a massive kick on her. However, we saw some real good sprinting price from Van Heuling and Fuhr. Her teammates, will they be the riders in the mix? Well, they're up against the Looper squad with Smithers, Litton, Francis and co. But watch out for the strong girls of Schroeder, Brommel, Faber, Mashandi, as well as Adeline. And don't forget, of course, we've got Marlene Bjarhed, a winner already in our qualifying races. Will she be able to surf those wheels and stay in contention in that Category 1? Category 1, of course, our strongest riders. Category 2, the riders one step down, and a real big, thick category here. Loads of riders and some amazingly talented athletes in here. We've got Team SZ2 in here, and they're well represented with 4 riders. We've got Golden Light in our individual categories, along with Gallagher and Poulton, Shimileva, Freiberg and Collins. Watch out for Team Fitness 10. Carmona and Reynard, Elodie Reynard, looking really strong last week. Don't discount the Team RT Cycle Zone, the strong women's team with Sanchez and Para, the Swedish Swifters, as well as the Italy Women Team B. Slams Bike Shop, well, we've got Cordera and Gracia Munoz in there, as well as the Abu Dhabi team in Category 2. And Category 3, well, That's also well represented in there. And we've got a number of our individual riders as well as the Team RT Ladies CZ Paolo. Watch out for the Climate Girls, the RT Cycle Set, and the Salam Bike Shop team with Sagwid and Rosas represented. We're about to hit the start, and away they go. So we are off from the start now. It's critical to be right up in the mix. You can see a very, very rich environment for our riders to ride in. And this is going to test our rider because the gradients are minimal today. Not non-existent, but minimal. And it's going to be about making sure that you get into the wheels. If you miss a wheel, if you see a gap go, you're going to be in trouble. And getting that power down and getting into a big bunch is key. Just as you would find on the track, just as you would find on the road. Being able to put the power down to jump in to the group is key. Jojo Bauer on the front of the race with Björhead, Barragan. Hello, Andy. But you can just see a huge pack of riders in here, and behind it's a bit like a comet. You've got the big head of the race at the front, and then a thinner section behind. And being able to kick into those really, really key to being able to keep a pace with the ferocious speed being set on the front at the moment. So left-hand side of your screen, 31 kilometers an hour, up a 1.5 gradient goes our leading group of riders, with Gemma Brogan hurtling up onto the front a little bit further back. You can just see our category 3 riders are now going to have to form themselves groups. What we always say, if you get dropped, find a group. Quickly find some friends or find some riders riding at a similar pace and get into a group fast. If you're not in a group, you're going to be in trouble as we make our way up through this group. You can just see here, Poulton, Willett, looks like they're just starting to get together to chase. Meanwhile, already into segment 1, you can see our leading riders coming. Segment 1 comes at 1.2 to 2.2 kilometers. This is 1k long, and I think this is going to be a fast time through here, and that is going to be reflected in the speed that they're traveling. Just looking at the heart rate at the moment, and we're seeing some really, really high heart rates. You can just see the very distance, the leading group, 1 or 2 riders in between. I think about 4 riders individually in between. We're just riding in with Poulton on the right hand side of the screen, just looking to try and close that gap down a little bit. Dallimore. Wow, look at this. This is not where we expected to see Rebecca Dallimore. One of our real class riders for the Las Colombianas squad, now having to make up ground. She's got Jenny Tan for company, but as they make their way up this gradual climb, she's currently sitting while she's in the 5th group on the road. The leaders group 1, the biggest group on the road at the moment. Then there are groups behind them. We say groups, they are literally 2s and 3s. But Dallimore here putting in some big power. She's got Tan on a wheel, trying to get back in touch now. Marlene Björhead goes up onto the front. Björhead, a rider from Sweden, has got lots of company around, and great to see that we've got Novelin Kakon in here as well. Another of the riders that we know can mix it up along with Borgen. We've got Angel and Hadlock in there as well. Julie Sanchez, Stefani Sanchez in the mix. Lisa Brummel in here. Catherine Fuhr in here now. Catherine Fuhr was a rider who took 2nd with her teammates Van Heuling in front and Brogan behind for the Spartan obstacles last time round. The Las Colombianas were in the mix, but they couldn't beat the squad from Spartan for that team win. And that is one of the things that really does spur the riders on. They know that they're supporting their teammates. Brogan in the front group. Mashandi at the moment, well, she's sitting back in 33rd. That's going to be a bigger chase on for her as these riders go through segment number 1. Let's get a look at those results. So Brummel leading the riders through, then Gallagher going through. That's really interesting to see that we are getting such a strong mix of riders on the way in through this group. Brogan right up there as well, and a 1:55. And that shows you another quick segment here as they come in and through. That leading group is a big group of riders. I think it's going to be probably best part of 30 riders strong. We're just going to take a double check as we work our way through. I suspect Just going to do a little count up here. Never my strong point, it has to be said. We're about 20 to 22 riders in this leading group. Bit hard to count, but they're all moving about so fast. But I think 22 riders in that group. You can see on the screen at the moment. Splits opening up, and this is the danger when we're on this course because it is so fast. You can just see we're riding in with Brommel. She's in this second group. She's in danger of being caught, and then as push comes, as the riders try to get back across towards the leaders once again. So El Halawani here at the moment, the UAE rider Lobna pushing very hard here to keep the pace high up at 4.6 or watts per kilo as we go over the bridge. Now, this is a level section, of course, and the advantage, of course, is with the group behind. You can save 80-90% of your effort by hiding in a pack, by hiding in a group, by staying out of the way, and by not pushing too hard on the front. So it's about surfing in the wheels. Really interesting to see that we've got a lot more of our category 2 riders mixing it up with our category 1 riders at the front of the race, and that is really simply because if you're a weaker rider, if you normally wouldn't be able to push out that power, you have the advantage of hiding, you have the advantage of staying in the wheels. You can save enough energy to stay with those stronger riders, whereas on a climb, well, you can't use the aerodynamics as much. That means that you're going to be found out quicker and you're going to get shelled out of the group. Novelin Kokona, one of our riders who we know very, very strong indeed, that we're riding with the left-hand side, 177 beats per minute. Those revs at 69, relatively a low rev there, 71 revs per minute, just pushing those pedals around. Interesting. We've got Adeline in the mix here. With this front group, we're just rolling away up towards 3.9. A real fast pace here, nearly 41 kilometers an hour. That's 25 miles an hour in old money, as they make the way in towards this sector. And at the moment, Kokona can't afford to let this gap go. You can just see as they come into this sector, the push on again. So it looks like Jojo Bauer very, very aware of what's happening in front, as is the rest of them. Bauer wants to get on the front and set her own pace here. She's not wanting to respond, I don't think, here. She's gone off the front, then eased back and now able to sit at a tempo behind everybody, having to work. They won't want to let the gaps go, so that means that the impetus with the riders out the front at the moment, they're just letting it roll through, so long as they're careful not to do too much work. Catherine Fuhr, one of our really experienced class riders in here, a rider who we know is going to be in the mix. She knows how to surf the wheels here, and she's going to be trying to keep those numbers green on the left-hand top corner. So when the numbers go green for the watts, that means that she's sheltering from the wind. She's staying out of the way. She's working less hard for the same speed, and that is going to be critical as this race moves on. So a 4.8k covered at the moment. And as you can see, Catherine keeping those revs nice and high. Look at those revs, 103 as she goes through, super smooth. Adeline just leading it out there, but Fuhr with 104 revs per minute. The cadence being shown, the upper number of the 2 in the yellow square block there. It really does show that's a nice pedal cadence, a real smart move. Now Brogan just goes, stretches the legs out there, puts in a bit of a kick, and I think Brogan's probably going to take our fastest time. She does indeed, 1:26, so you can see some 30 seconds faster this kilometre as the pace has really picked up. Brogan using that sprint power to kick away off the front here. So it's Brogan and Malarkey for Sanchez, Parra, Sanchez, Adeline, Biarhead, Kimona, Badovskos, as well as El Halal Awani and Bauer, the top 12 riders on the way through. However, don't forget, we've got lots more course to be eaten up by these riders as they go in and through, and as the pace picks up, it's going to start shedding riders. I suspect we had about 12 riders or so left in that front group, as our 2 leaders on the front just ease off a little bit for just seeing Bauer and Brogan up in front. Now, is Fuhr going to do anything about this? Brogan is her teammate. Really interesting that she's can see Bauer up in front of her now. Jojo Bauer riding for the Las Colombianas squad. Does that mean that we're not going to see a chase behind, or are we going to see the riders from the other teams moving up? Really is a team game once you get into the competition here on MyWhoosh. Don't forget, of course, that you can jump in and ride. If you're looking at this thinking, I really fancy a race and having a go, sign up. All the links on the mywhoosh.com website. Jump on, download the app, make sure you get all set up and ready to go, and come and have a ride, and we'll soon make sure you get those legs stretched. That is for sure. Our riders very quickly up to speed here, and certainly looks at the moment like the Category 2 riders are mixing it in well with our Category 1 riders. A little bit further back, you can just see Rebecca Dallymore, one of the riders we expected to be mixing it up at the front, just having to push on at the back. So that's on the right-hand side. The left-hand side of the screen, that is Catherine Fua. Fua just keeping those races 101 as off the front. You can just see Ursulina just starting to push in and through. And those little attacks, those little pushes are going to break up the rhythm of the group behind. And that is going to take its toll on the cohesion of the group. It pays to stay in the pack. It pays to have everybody working. What you don't want is people thinking, oh, hang on a minute, I need to save energy. And that is when people start hesitating. They start sort of relaxing just a little bit. They maybe just start to not cooperate in the group as they make the way through. At the moment, though, looks like pretty much most people working just in a real revolving door of riders up at the front. But that is going to be really telling as we make our way in and through. So distance covered 7.1k. We're right in the middle of segment number 3. And that means that we'll get an indicator of just who is riding well and how many riders we've got left in this leading group. There's a big field of riders setting off, well over 65 riders on our start list. But as the race kicked off, this fast start really has taken its toll, and it has shelled people out very quickly indeed. Dallymore at the moment, while she's sitting what is going to be about 750 meters behind the lead riders. Doesn't sound a lot, 750 meters, but the pace that these riders are traveling, that is going to be, I think, a big ask to come back from that. She would need a lot of support, and the riders in front, I think, are traveling just too quick. So, left-hand side of your screen, our race leaders. The chasers on the right-hand side. Dallymore working their way through the riders, not able to get back in contention yet. Here come the leaders. Are going to come through. Checkpoint number 3. So we're going to see the number of riders in that leading group. Well over 12 riders in there at the moment. In fact, it is 12 riders in that leading group. So all 12, Malarkey, El Halawani, Sanchez, Bauer, Sanchez. So Julie and Stefania Sanchez, both riding for different teams. Then Angie Parra, Gemma Brogan, Catherine Fua, Luz Kimona, Lydia Adeline, Bjarhed, as well as Ursula. That's going to be Bardovskaya, who comes through. So Bardovskaya with the slowest time through there, but working hard. And you see 169 beats per minute for Bardovskaya. Bjarhed 173 beats per minute. In fact, the person working in theory the least hardest there was Luz Kimona from the Team Fitness 10 squad, who is currently in the mix. But look at all those green jerseys. You can see them on the front here coming through. And you just see Bardovskaya just moving up around towards from Bjarhed, who keeps on pushing over the top for keeping the pace high as she moves up the Swiss rider, pushing on the right there. But these riders really are working hard, and one rider who isn't in the isn't really up at the pace we expected, that is going to be Van Heuling, a rider who we thought would be right in the mix, a rider who we know can take wins, taking the victory with a perfectly timed attack at the top of the mountain in the points race, not in this leading group of 12. So we'll try and catch up with where she is out on the course, but at the moment the leading group well on the way around, coming up towards us, 8.8k to go, just about to hit that marker. As the chase behind, you see Rebecca Dallymore with Willett in there for company. Looks like Cardova in the squad too, but very quickly this race split apart by the pace on the front. So interesting watching Marlon Bjerrehead. So Bjerrehead taking a victory. The Swedes coming over. Madsen as well, both putting in some great rides on MyWhoosh, and a great addition into the peloton here now and racing on the Sunday Race Club. Will it be Marlon Bjerrehead who's in with the fight when we come in towards the end of the month? Remember, our riders have to qualify in 2 races and get 2 verified results. So the verification, checking all of our riders, checking all of their race performances, the AI working its way through learning about those riders and really checking that everything was functioning correctly to make sure that it's all running as it should and the race results are accurate. Once the results are in over the line, they are unofficial until that verification process is checked, but you can pick them all up. That's www.mywhoosh.com. Don't forget, of course, you can make sure all those pictures tagged on social media. So don't forget, it's MyWhoosh on Facebook and on Instagram. It's my_whoosh on Twitter. Don't forget, you can catch up with me. That's Matt Fixer Pain, and going to be putting lots more on the YouTube as well as on the Facebook channels. And don't forget, of course, if you subscribe to the YouTube channel, you get notified every time we go live as well. So here we go. The riders continue to push onwards. Our race leaders really are starting to settle into what is a really good rhythm here. They're sitting just below that 40k ph marker. Right hand side of your screen, you can just see the squad working well. It looks like our category 3 riders here. Barco looking good, and at the moment Barco continuing to push on. One of our individual category 3 riders got Maya for company as well. They're just taking that right hand turn at 7.9k. The lead is currently at 10.2 kilometers. So here on a Sunday Race Club on MyWhoosh, we have our leading riders clear. We are 10.6 kilometers into 35 kilometers racing. My apologies. Don't go giving them an extra 10k, Matt. That would be mean. Harsh and mean, particularly at the pace these guys are moving at the moment. So we're 10.7k of our 35 kilometer course, 274 meters of ascent. You can tell we have a busy day on a Sunday with the Sunday Race Club. 7 segments in total, 5 segments of 1k, 2 segments of 5k, and the course a predominantly flat course today. We traditionally have seen hills and climbs all the way through today. It's about being able to surf those wheels, and just like any discipline of cycling, when you have a change of course or a change of the terrain, you've got to be able to adapt to that. Our leading group doing an amazing job of splitting this race up very, very early on. And as we hit that 11.5 marker, we're going to come in and be in to segment number 4. So Marlon Bjerrehead comes in through. She's going to start the clock ticking with a slight gap. Now, if you're not a sprinter, this is the key thing to do. Keep breaking the pace or keep changing the rhythm here. But the sprinters, riders like Bro, are going to be wanting to keep this all together. Remember, of those leading riders, this group, well, they are the key favorites. There are 1 or 2 names not in the mix who we expect to see in there. People like Van Heuling, the winner from the final. But look at Bauer go now. Bauer is starting to wind this up, 5.1 kilometers. So get watts per kilo as she goes. So Jojo Bauer clear of Bjerrehead. Then it's Adeline. Then the chase is on Fua behind, trying to work hard. But Bauer really starting to kick here. So Jojo Bauer looking to open up the gap on the rest of the rider. This is going to be key as she goes. She's opened a gap here. 3 seconds back to Bjarhead. It's 10 seconds back to Adeline and the bunch here. This is a brave move for home. I think this could well have the markers of an attack that could stick. If you look at the response behind, we are not seeing a massive response from all of the riders. Brogan, at the moment, is trying to chase on to Bauer. She's the nearest rider. And if these two went clear, you would not want to bet against Bauer and Brogan staying clear. They've got the pedigree, they've got the power, they've got the skills. They're experienced riders. And at the moment, they're opening up the gap. At the moment, that gap, it was sort of 14 seconds. I think Brogan and Dej being caught back here. So let's see who's left in the mix as they come in and through. Bauer, Brogan and Bjarhead clear the rest of the bunch. 11 riders left in this mix. Big names missing. People like Van Heuling not in the fight for the win. So it's Bauer, Brogan, Bjarhead, El Halalawani, Adeline, Sanchez and Sanchez. And then it's going to be Fua, Kimona, Para, followed by Bardovskaya, who is currently the last of our 11 riders in that pattern. The gap has opened between them and everybody else now. So Jojo Bauer with a 16-second lead. We have seen riders take this in to the finish solo. She's got some really talented riders behind her who are trying to close that gap down. But Bauer went through that segment 8 seconds faster than Brogan, 12 seconds faster than Bjarhead, and 14 seconds faster than anybody else. Of the chasers behind, it's riders like Sanna Freeborg, Gallagher, Barragan, and Hadlock who are coming quick, but they are some 20 seconds slower through that particular segment. This is segment 4, and that it says a lot about the pace that is being put down by Bauer. So Bauer now goes solo, looking to pull clear and really open up a gap. A really strong performance here. There's a long way to go, and it means that behind the work is going to have to be done to chase it down Jojo Bauer. Now, some of these teams have multiple riders in the leading group, and they are going to have to work together now to try and bring the gap down. So Brogan and Fua, who are in the chasing group here, well, they know that they are going to have to try and work to pull back Jojo Bauer, who's now at 19 seconds. If they want that win, the question is, can they do anything about the last Colombianas rider, Jojo Bauer, who has gone clear? So 13.5k done. The chase on behind. Certainly looks to me like this is going to be a real battle behind. They've got to try and get that gap down. Remember, this is all about taking the win. It's about getting a great performance in as well. Our riders are wanting to set a good marker. For those riders who are in the front or in the middle or in the rear groups, doesn't matter where you are, you're going to want to stay in your category to be in there to win. So they're going to want to put a great performance down. They also want a verified performance that shows that what they can do, and they're going to want to have the prize taking that win. Everyone loves having a great race, a real competitive race, and that is what we're seeing here. A real different mix of riders. Bauer going clear, Bjarhead, Brogan, Adeline, Sanchez, Bardovskaya, looks like El Halawani, as well as Sanchez and Fua, all in that mix. Will they all be able to close the gap down? Well, they've got to get Bauer back. Bauer has put down a strong mark. She's at 135 beats per minute, 82 beats per minute. She's sitting at 2.8 watts per kilo. She's got 14 seconds, so that gap is coming down at the moment. It was out at 21, but at the moment, she's able to take it easy. She's able to just ease off a little bit. She was 8 seconds faster through the last segment. What is she going to do through segment number 5? 8 seconds quicker than anybody else last time round. So Bauer goes through in a time of 1:59. The rest of the riders are chasing. So Bauer through with a 1:59.416. Here comes the rest of the group. And it looks like it is going to be Julie Sanchez and Gemma Brogan, the nearest riders. So they are within fractions of a second. So they're not closed a huge amount down on her as they come through. And you could just see Bauer now 5 seconds, 5.449 seconds down on the leading time through there. So she lost 5 seconds out of her gap, but she's still got plenty of time left. In terms of team spots and obstacles, well, they have 2 riders in the mix in terms of Brogan and Fua. The Las Colombianas riders, well, they have Sanchez right up there. They have Bauer right up in the mix as well. But it's going to come down to where the riders are in the groups behind our leaders for who is going to be right up in with the battle for the team win. Interestingly, the chase behind, as we're starting to see this populated by more and more riders, you can see Barragan starting to come strong in the groups behind. Now comes Van Heuling. She's set the fastest time through there. So after that initial start, looks like Elizabeth Van Heuling setting the fastest split time. She is going to try and close down the gap on our race leading pack. The question is, where is Van Heuling out on the course? Well, we're going to have to do a little bit of digging to find her because she was not in our leading 11 riders as they set off. The leading riders already well on the way through the course. So riding in with Barragan at the moment, and this group, this is the group that currently is rolling around between about 15th and 25th place. You can see in this mix with Conan, with Barragan, with Yadlock. It looks like we've also got Gallagher in there and Freeburg in there. It's certainly a very, very strong field. But can they close down on the leaders? They put in some fast times through the splits. So Kokkonen in the mix. Dallimore a little bit further back down the course, and that is going to take it. Stelfe Faber, interestingly, a rider who we normally see right at the front of affairs and not in the battle. Jackie Giuliano at the moment, just a little further back through the Category 3 rider, putting in a strong performance today at the moment. Just taking a little bit of a look around. Looks like Balon just in with her 4 seconds up the road. That's a group ahead. So the riders in front are definitely a target to get closed down. Now the leading group, we're just riding in with Lisa Brummel at the moment. This is the leading group. The question is, will they be able to mix it up all the way in to the finish? Bardeskaya continues to push, but Jojo Bauer has the gap, 22 seconds still. So 16.4 kilometers in. Jojo Bauer time trialing her way in and through that heart rate. It's up at 186, 187. I think Jojo Bauer's decided, do you know what? This is going to be my workout for the week because she's absolutely pushing at the moment. And Bauer looking very, very good indeed. Up at the front, all of the riders behind are really at the moment are just left in her slipstream. And of our big pack to start off, it certainly looks like Bauer has got the head of this race well and truly in a grasp. So Lutz Kimona just coming up and through. Catherine Fua, Julie Sanchez, Marlene Bierhead, all looking to try and close that gap down. But Jojo Bauer currently sitting at 34 seconds. How late did this lot leave it? Do you want to put your money on Jojo Bauer? Would you put your money on Catherine Fua? Will Lutz Kimona, will Stephanie Sanchez come through? I think because we've got a real mix of second category and first category riders, they're not sure who should be doing the work here. You got to remember that a lot of these riders in second category riders not necessarily right up at the front of affairs normally as they come into segment 6. This is where we see whether that gap is going to continue to go out or come back in again. Remember, Jojo Bauer sitting at 31 seconds through 6 segments to come before our very last one, sector 7, segment 7. But at the moment, Bauer with this race under her command, sitting at 17.4. So she's at 17.4. The distance from her to Kekonen's group at the moment, well, that's rolling at about 0.8 of a kilometre, and that is a substantial amount. So come on, Jojo, now's the time to dig in. Always love somebody who goes on the attack and speculatively goes off the front and then realises they're on their own. This is time for Jojo. Come on, Jojo, time to dig deep now. 27 seconds. It just starts 24. It's yo-yoing behind, but it's about half a minute here on MyWhoosh on the Sunday Race Club. A solo attack. Jojo Bauer doing what's known as a Sammy Stewart in UK crit terms and got on a solo attack early on. Can Bauer hold them all off behind? It looks like all of a sudden Bjarhead has decided she's going to put a big kick in. She's gone on to the front and starting to wind it up. Kekonen is responding, and the whole of this group is responding, but very few are doing a consistent turn on the front. And that's why Jojo Bauer is able to keep pushing this pace out and keeping the gaps open. Really are going to be interesting to watch how this unfolds as we move in towards the end of the race. Just right in the middle of Skimona on the right-hand screen here. She's sitting a little bit further back from Bauer at the moment. She's got to really work hard to get that gap back down again. So at the moment, Bauer looking very, very strong indeed. That gap has opened up, but will it be brought back down again by the group coming through this segment? The push is definitely on behind, being led by Bjarhead. So Bauer, Bjarhead, Bardovskaya right in that mix. Interestingly, Lydia Adlin, Catherine Fuhr, Julie Sanchez, Angie Parra, Luz Carmona, all are looking to hold Bauer back. But at the moment, Bauer just sitting there, ticking along, doing a really good job here as it levels off. So he's getting a little bit of rest in at the moment. That heart rate's dropped from 180 plus down to 145. You can see there's a substantial difference in the watts. Just seeing Fuhr and Coast come in, they can see their target in front. So the target for this group, Jojo Bauer in front. That gap now down to 10 seconds. The work being done behind. Remember, we come down to 11 riders in total. Question is, are they going to pull back Bauer? Has Bauer done too much too soon, or has she paced this just right? She's certainly doing some damage to the group behind, but now you can see it's those category 1 riders on the front. The predominance of yellow jerseys showing that the pace is hot behind, as the green jerseys, the category 2 riders now start to find themselves distanced a little bit. Bauer, I think, knows that the game is up for the moment, and he's now pacing herself back in. Look at that heart rate. Really clever move here by Bauer, just letting that heart rate come down as the riders come back through. She knows she's going to get caught back, so she's just bringing her heart rate down, ready for that catch to be made, rather than blowing her socks. So just constantly working. And at the moment, just being left out there at 3.1 watts per kilo behind Adeline. Right in this mix. Remember this, we're actually in to our next one. We're 18.9 kilometers at the moment, so we're about halfway through segment number 6. Now Fuhr comes up over the top. The catch made the group back together again. So Jojo Bauer's first speculative attack that went off the front and stuck, I think possibly to Jojo's surprise there, and meant that everybody behind was chasing. Now Bauer goes again. Look at this. Jojo Bauer not content with ripping the legs off them once. She's gone for it again. Now Jojo Bauer back up at 5 watts per kilo. She's making this interesting. It could have been a very static race with it being flat. It hasn't been. It's gone hard from the gun. It's ripped the groups apart. And once again, Bauer has gone very quickly, got herself 8 seconds lead again. So Bauer, I think, would be hoping to take 1 or 2 riders with her. But at the moment, the Las Colombianas rider is looking impressive. And at the moment, she's picking the spots and going clear on the front. The riders in the groups behind, well, they haven't got an answer at the moment. They do manage to pull her back. The work being done by the same riders on the front. Bardovskaya, Fuhr, Adeline, Bjarhead, very much in the 4 of the chase behind. However, Bauer really powering on here. Look at this, 90 arrests per minute, 188, 189, that heart rate. She's giving this a massive dig here, 191. So Jojo Bauer back up to 40 seconds. And now Brogan comes up on to the front. So Brogan goes through. Then it's Bjarhead. So let's see who has got it in them. Who's got the determination to chase back Jojo Bauer, who is definitely on a fiery day today, going clear almost seemingly at will. She just pulled another 20 seconds out of this group. And once again, if she keeps on doing this, there's going to be a time, I think, where the group just doesn't do anything about it. They just don't pull her back. And that is going to be very dangerous to the group. But Adeline just rolls back into the group with the red head. He goes back up onto the front as well. So Lydia Adeline starting to try and pick the pace, which is trying to keep a little bit of control left in this group as they come around these turns. We're at 20 kilometers, the 35 kilometers covered at the moment. So 35 minutes into the racing, and Jojo Bauer on the attack again here on Sunday Race Club. The MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club are coming to you every week. My name's Matt Payne, going to be bringing you all of the action. Really looking forward to the next run of races in towards our June final. The prize money final at the end of each of our months. Make sure that you download the app, jump in, join in. Jump on a MyWhoosh's ride where you can jump in with lots of other riders, lots of the other competitors taking part in those rides. Don't forget, of course, that you can jump in to a Battle the Bot if you want to be able to take on the bots that help populate the world, give you a rider to pace to ride against. You can jump into a My Bunch, get a really good, nice pace ride on the way through as well, with 9 groups at the moment on MyWhoosh, 9 different pace bot groups. So you can always find a group to ride with, which suits whatever you want to do, whether that's sit and do a steady state ride, or whether you want to be pushing on a little bit higher. So whether you're in zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, you can always find a group that's going to give you a good workout on there. And don't forget, of course, you can always plug in one of the fantastic training programs on there as well. Just download the app. If you want to come and race, then come and join us on Sunday Race Club. Great to see so many new riders constantly joining. The field's expanding, and the competition is pretty ferocious. And you can see each and every time we have a race, there's different tactics with different courses being employed, and it suits different riders. Jojo Bauer at the moment, though, well, she's a class apart from the chasers behind, and we're now starting to see some of our second category riders having to push on here. It had been left to a lot of the first category riders, the yellow jerseys, to do the chasing behind Bauer. Bauer's going to come up to the marker. She's got about 300, nearly 400 meters between her and the chasers behind Adeline, the nearest rider, at 19 seconds. So Bauer goes through. The chasers are on the way. How much of a gap will Bauer have when she comes in to the line, and will that gap be coming up and going down? Bauer went through that segment with 3.4, her average watts per kilo, an average watts of 250 watts on the way through. Interestingly, heart rate of 159. Now Brogan goes through. I think Brogan's going to take the fastest time through there. And, let's have a look at what Bauer lost there. So Bauer lost 8 seconds in that particular segment. However, I think really interesting to see the group behind chasing, because you have 10 riders at the moment chasing one, and at the moment in that group you have got a group of 4 second category riders in this mix, and that is making it a bit of a disjointed chase behind. So let's drop a little bit further back. We just started watching Angela and Hadlock come through. She's got Freybo for company. Looks like Malaki in there. Kokona, Gallagher, Faber in the mix as well. So this is the riders who are sat a little bit further back. Remember, the leading group is 10 riders strong. They're chasing a solo race leader in the shape of Jojo Bauer. But the chasers in this group, this is group number 2 on the road, I think, if the math is correct. That means that if this is group 2, which is what it's looking like, they've got a lot of work to do to close down. They're currently just about to come into that same checkpoint. So A real fast start, and the rider who's sandwiched in between is Elizabeth Van Heuling. So Van Heuling is sandwiched between the groups, I think, here at the moment as they go through. The chasing groups a bit further back, not able to get into the mix at the moment. So still Brogan leading the riders through 8 minutes 46 for segment number 6. And then the rest of the chasing riders and as the fight, Van Heuling coming through at a similar pace to Bauer at the moment, so that is going to be interesting as we go through. But at the moment, it is Jojo Bauer, 13 seconds to the good on Adeline. Will it be a lead like that as we come in towards those final kilometres? So Adeline on the left of your screen with the red hair just moves out of the way as the riders come in through, but quickly picks that pace back up again. And this is where you've got to see whether they're carrying any passengers, whether anybody's maybe not doing the work. It's not the riders always at the front of the group, it's the riders at the back who are saving energy, who are maybe just sitting in there and have the strength to come to the front, but choose not to. They don't do too much work and are therefore being very, very smart about when they push on at the front. Interestingly, Gemma Brogan here, a rider who we know has got a big sprint on her, currently sat in the back of this group, just biding her time, not panicking when she was off the back there, just quickly moves into the back of the group. But if you look at the numbers and look at the speed, well, Jojo Bauer is more than matching this group that are chasing her at the moment and trying to keep that gap at least the same, but I think actually she's growing it again. So Bauer, the leader, right hand side of your screen, the chasers, this is the leading pack of riders behind. It contains our first and second category riders. So we're just taking a look from a group to a group. Gemma Brogan's group here on the left of your screen. Brogan herself ticking along nice revs there, 84 revs per minute, heart rate 118. So I suspect Gemma Brogan at the moment being careful, not doing too much work on the front, keeping it manageable though to the leader. Meanwhile, Jojo Bauer leading this race out. She has 155 as a heart rate. We've seen it go up to the top of 180s, in towards the 190s as she's pushed on an attack. This is the second attack from Bauer to go clear. Definitely a rider to watch out for as we move in to the finals once again. We know she's strong. We know she's fast. At the moment, she's certainly making it look like she's got this absolutely dialed. And just looking at the relative speeds, you can see left-hand side of your screen that Brogan yo-yoing around about the 30 kilometers an hour mark. Brogan doing a good job of moving up into that group, but speed rarely going above that of Jojo Bauer on the right-hand side of the screen. And Jojo Bauer at the moment leading out the entire race field at the moment. So the riders moving the way through the 35-kilometer course, 274 meters of elevation. We know one of our very flattest of courses, so one of our very fastest of courses as well. Our next segment, the final segment before we hit that finishing line at 35k, will be segment number 7. That comes at 27 kilometers, 5 kilometers long. Equally as long as the segment we've just done. Segment 6, the fastest time through there was Gemma Brogan with an 8 minutes 46 time. We'll see whether they can go through segment number 7 any quicker. At the moment, the lead is still with Bauer. Now, let's have a little look a little further down through the group. We're just in with Madonna Dagan and Mashandi. And Mashandi at the moment just in with a nice group of riders here. Looks to be working well together. Now, There you go, remember Mandela, 25th, 26th place, working well. Looks like Leslie Ann Cordero in that group as well. Poulton in the mix. They've got a group of about 10 seconds in front. You can just see them going into that right-hand bend on your screen. So Lytton and Dallimore have to be careful. They could well see the riders coming from behind and picking them up. So just riding with Brittany Lytton with the white helmet, just going alongside Becca Dallimore with that blue cap on, both Category 1 riders, but they will know that there is strength in depth. If you get dropped, you need to find a pack, find a group, find a bunch, and jump into it. Now, Faye Faber at the moment, 19th place for Faber. She's got company. Marcel Smithers currently in 20th place, sat on her wheel. Faye Faber, one of our regular riders, a strong rider at pace, but at the moment not in the mix with the riders in front. Looks like Faber at the moment running in 19th position. The next group of riders up the road in front, well, I think it's going to be a solo rider in the shape of Novalin Kekkonen. So Kekkonen at the moment is currently in 18th position. Novalin, another of our strong riders, and I think she's realised that coming up behind is Faye Faber as well as Smithers, and could well be jumping on with Faber. If I saw Faber coming past, I'd be jumping in real quick because Faye, one of our real strong riders, but I think Kekkonen may well have called it a day there. So look at that, Novalin Kekkonen going to be out of the mix, just starts to wind it back up again. Come on, Novalin. Just think all those miles in the under the wheels, all those kilometres under the wheels, they're in the tank, they're in the bank, they are kilometres you've got, and they are key. And you've got a rider who is absolutely showing them how it's done. It is Jojo Bauer, right-hand side of your screen at the moment. You can see that the speed difference coming up to the start of segment 7. Jojo Bauer, the first rider to enter this 5K segment that will take us to within 3K of the finish. So a long segment behind. You can see Fua chasing that gap at 14 seconds. Wow, you got to say, Bauer is doing an amazing job of holding this group off, but this group is not getting itself together. And in part, that's due to the fact that we've got riders in different teams. In part, it's because we have second and first category riders together. The second category riders will want to take the scalps of those first category riders. The first category riders won't want to be beat by the second category riders. Add into that mix that the second category riders are all fighting for their own positions in that category, and the first are. And we've got one rider, Jojo Bauer, off the front. And Jojo, at the moment, showing a clean pair of heels to everybody. It's only about 150, maybe 200 metres at most between them. And the gap has yo-yoed. Remember, we saw it go up to 30 plus seconds on a first attack. This time round, it's gone out to 20 seconds. Currently, that gap is a little bit less than that. However, remember, these riders are riding at the moment. Both groups, the chasing group and our race leader, on a very similar minimal uphill section. So if it does come back together, which is not guaranteed by any stretch of the imagination, even though you can just see that chasing group at the moment, just going towards the left of your screen behind Jojo Bauer. If it does come back together again, will Bauer have the strength to go again? Will it be a rider who's maybe been sat at the back, just biding their time? Gemma Brogan, smart rider. Regularly see Brogan sitting in the wheels, not panicking, knows that we still have just under 8 kilometres still to go. And it's going to be 7 kilometres very shortly, so still plenty of time to pull the gaps back in. Now, it's not as easy to do when you get in to those final few kilometres, because everybody will be fancying their chances of a top 3 finish, a top 5 finish. But as we go on to this a little bit of a climb, you can just see Baraskaya just looking to close gap a little bit more. Bauer has to respond to this if she wants to keep the gap, but she may well just be sitting there, keeping that pace nice and steady and making everybody else work behind. Now, Bjarhed goes through. Bjarhed goes in to the mix with Catherine Fua in the group here, and I think we're just starting to see a little bit of a split develop between these groups, and it could well be that Stefania Sanchez is going to be in trouble just off the back. So it's Bauer leading. Her gap is only a matter of about 8 or 9 bike lengths at the moment. You can see the group behind. Here they come. It's a bit like Jaws behind. You need that Jaws theme coming up behind it. And the catch is made. Do you go straight over the attack? Do you go on the offensive now? Because we know that we've got a very strong rider at the moment. Really, really strong rider in Bauer. She's been able to attack and go clear. She just got caught back. Has she saved something in those legs to sit, jump back into the bunch? This group is back together once again. So Lydia Adeline, a rider who was sitting in second place for a long time on one of our climbs up to the Jebel Hafit. I think they'll be back into the March, potentially the April qualifier in her races. That she was a rider who was sitting in second place and only got past in the last few moments. Will it be her turn to be right up in the mix up at the top? We are going to see very shortly if that's going to be the case. We're coming up to 30 kilometers to go very shortly for the leading group. Group number 2 and not all that far behind here. Really interesting to see some of these riders once they've the initial kickoff from the gun where it rips people's legs apart and the lungs start burning. If they can't go with the initial group, sometimes you'll find some of these smaller groups behind are able to work and really start to pull back the riders in front. But I think it's about 2 minutes between group number 2 and group number 1. So Adeline in the mix with the red hair just moves her way up towards the front of group number 1, left hand side of that bunch, moves into the middle. Over the top goes Furk, over the top goes Biarrahead, over the top goes Sanchez. They're all wanting to be in the mix. They're all just starting to think they've got this, that they could be able to do something about this, that they maybe are now in with a chance of taking away a top spot. They've pulled back a couple of really big attacks by Bauer. They know that there's strength in that group. They know that this is the leading group on the road, that the nearest chasers behind are sitting at 2 minutes nearly down on our race leaders. And what this can do, it can do one of two things. This can either spur on our riders because they know that they're in with the chance and see attack after attack, or it can make the riders think, well, we've got 2 minutes. There's plenty of time. I can sit back a little bit, just do a little bit of resting, and then put my attack in a little bit later on. Where do you want to attack? Well, you want to go when you've got the most chance of getting clear. If you are a rider who has got it in them to sit and then time trial to the finish, if you're a sprinter, well, you'll leave it to the last possible moment. So Bauer in the group, look at that heart rate, it's come right down. We've seen that at 191. Jojo Bauer at the moment revs down at 80, heart rate dropping to 140, 142. Sign of being fit, heart rate will drop really quick. Sign of not working too hard, it'll keep on dropping. This is going to be fast. This is going to be quick. So Bauer into the last 5k, as is all of this leading group here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. We've seen a leading group pull clear. That leading group of 11 riders has got nearly a 2 minute gap on the chasers behind. From that group, Jojo Bauer has repeatedly gone on the attack, getting 20 and 30 seconds at a time. However, she's not been able to make that stick all the way in to the finish yet. Will she try another attack? Will it come down to a sprint? This is all about what's going to happen in these next 4 kilometers or so. It's a fast finish on here. I expect that speed to be ramped up. We're currently sitting at 38 kilometers an hour, 37, 38 kilometers an hour. And that's a fair pace when these riders are moving along in that bunch. We're going to see if the group behind can close that gap down any. I think that although they did have the advantage of being slightly more cohesive in the chasing group behind, that the gap is not going to come down enough to make a difference. So Bauer in the leading group, but a real mix of riders with Gemma Brogan in their big sprint from Brogan. Expect that at the end. Will she have hit eaten away sufficiently, will she save that strength to be able to put in a race winning move? Will El Halawani be able to put this in? Lovna sat in there for the UAE squad. Now goes up on to the front, riding for the Abu Dhabi team. Now starts to push at 6.3 watts per kilo. She's already starting to wind this as we make our way in towards the checkpoint. She could well get the fastest time through this checkpoint. And she's really pushing, but using that then potentially to break the group apart. It looks like Angie Parra and Gemma Brogan could be in trouble a little bit further back. They may well have lost that group. So it looks like Bauer and Brogan at the moment with a lot of work to do. It looks to me like Mona and Bauer having to push to get back in. And look at that. It's the Abu Dhabi team on the top of the kit. So the riders continue to push onwards. We see Jojo Bauer continuing to work in to the front of the group. She pulls the gap back in and through. Look at this Brogan in the mix as well. They're all getting twitchy now. Is anybody going to be able to put in an attack that is going to finish this off? This is going to be very, very fast indeed. Now, here we go. It is Fua, Bauer, Baraskaya, Sanchez, Bierhead. In fact, two Sanchez. We've got Julie Sanchez and we have got Stephanie Sanchez in here as well. The riders know that they are in the battle. They are in the mix. So Brogan now moves up on the side here. Gemma Brogan could be the rider most fancied for this sprint. However, it's been a little while till we've had one unfold on this pace. It's going to be really quick. So let's see. Rosalina Barragan in the chasing group behind on the right-hand side of your screen, but the leaders on the left-hand side of your screen are at 33 kilometers. They have got less than 2 kilometers to go. The chasers behind are coming in to the end of checkpoint number 7. Have they managed to close out the gas? The fastest time was El Halal. Well, Hani's time, is it going to be beaten? Well, Hani's time was an 8:05. It's Nob, Smithers and Co. being able to push up in towards the top 8 or 9, but not able to challenge with the very front of the group. So the left-hand side of your screen are leaders now with 1.6 kilometers to go. 1.6 K to go. This is getting very interesting indeed. 1.5, 1,500 meters to decide who is going to take away the win in qualifier number 1 of the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, our women's race. Here, over 35 kilometers, 274 meters of climbing, a relatively fast and flat route, which really has tested the rider's ability to stay with that throttle wide open. Jojo Bauer has put in 2 big attacks. Has she got anything left in those legs to rip the gap back open again? Will she leave it to the sprint? Well, we're going to have to watch out for Adeline. We know she's fast. Fua is always in the battle. She cannot be discounted. Brogan, we know, has a fast sprint. We know she can kick in to the finish. Big question, it could be, are we going to see a Category 2 rider taking the win from a Category 1 because they've been smart? And the expectation won't be that they're able to mix it up with the Category 1 riders on the front. They may have been using that to their advantage by not working too hard. It may well be they've saved something for the sprint. Really interesting now with 900, now 800 meters to go. I don't know who to put money on. I don't know who's going to take this. I absolutely love it. Brilliant riders in this battle. Absolutely fighting for it. No guaranteed winner out of any of this. It's not decided. We're now coming in. We're going to, I think, hit 500 meters to go. We're still going to have everybody in this battle. It's not going to be decided until we get across the line. Remember, if you're in the slipstream, you're not working as hard. So it's about having the right position in here. Nobody will want to take the front and take the lead. They're going to lead it out if they do, and that is a dangerous thing to do. You're not getting any slipstream. Now Adlin goes over the top. Some riders will want to attack from pace. A way to do it, if you can, is to sit at the back and then go right through the group. And there's a big kick as we see Brogan do that at 9.5 watts per kilo. She came from the back of the group to the front. She's gone clear. Brogan has not left this to a sprint. There's 200 meters to go, but look at Bauer go. Is Bauer going to get a just desserts here? It's not going to be a matter of seconds. It's close. Bjarhead is coming. Bazovskaya is coming behind. Is Bauer going to hold on? Bauer's going to take it. Oh, so close. That was right down to the wire there, because that came down to fractions of a second. The whole group is through. Let's have a look at those results as they come in. Jojo Bauer, it looks like she just held off Marlena Bjarhead behind by 0.514 of a second. Wow, Badovskaya coming through. Great ride by Ursula Badovskaya, taking third place inside of a second of Jojo Bauer. So it is Bauer, Bjarhead, Badovskaya, then Fua, Brogan, Sanchez. And so that's your top 6. Behind then it is going to be El Halalni coming through in 7th. It's going to be Stephanie Sanchez in 8th, Lydia Adlin in 9th, and Angie Parra in 10th. Sanchez, El Halalwani, and Parra going to be the 1, 2, 3 in the second category of riders, but Jojo Bauer. So Jay, to confirmation, taking away the win, and look at the average watts for the race, 247, and that is well and truly done. Justice to the work done by Bauer, because Jojo Bauer was absolutely flying there. So great to see that result. We've just seen Luz Kimona come through in 11th place. She's going to take 4th place in our second category of riders, and absolutely flying here. So great to see the riders coming in and through the finish here. So Jojo Bauer, Marlena Bjarhead, Ursula Badovskaya, the 1, 2, 3 as they came in and through the line. And the next finish, this is the kick for the finish. Or will Lisa Brommel take this? This is the chasing group. Faye Faber in the mix. Who is going to bring home group number 2? There they go. They're in the way into the finish. It's going to be that final kick that is going to count. Well, look at that. It is Elizabeth Van Heuling who leads them in over the line, the second group. And that is absolutely pinging. Great to see the riders are working hard. So a brilliant result there. Let's have a quick check back as they come through. Van Heuling, Smithers, Barry, Malarkey, Freeburg and Co. However, top 3, Bauer, Bjarhead and Badovskaya taking the top honours. And I think we're going to see Spartan Obstacles should have taken the team as well. Don't forget, lots more racing to come this month. Qualifier number 2 will come next week. So from me, Matt Payne, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again soon on the Sunday Race Club live here on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel.